Hey guys, welcome to the live. Um, Adam is here, and Alexa's with us tonight. Um,
Hello.
testing,
Hopefully,
testing.
hopefully the microphone is okay.
Yeah. So Alexa keeps having issues with the new mic she's buying. So yeah, it's just
I don't know. Three microphones and they don't work.
yeah. Um, and hi, Manya Andrews from Australia. Not sure what time it is over there, but it must be probably during the day at some point. It's such a weird time, that one. It's like a whole day and a half or something. I'm personally from Canada myself, right here at 7:05 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on the 29th, which I know it's the 30th over there. um, Streamlabs is in the house, of course. Hi, Mustang. Hi, Miranda. Miss Dog Lover's in the house. Diana, Alexa, of course, our profiler. And did I say Miranda already? If I didn't, there it goes again. Caesar's in the house. CJK. Again, Miss Dog Lover, just to give you a double love there. And Sharon Parker's in the house. And who else? Who else? Who else? And, well, besides Streamlabs. I think that's good enough for now. Anyways, you guys, so I first want to start off by saying thank you, Alexa, for joining us tonight.
You're welcome. Thank you for inviting me.
Where's Shelly? Shelly, you're in here. You're hiding. She's somewhere in here. You know she's hiding. Anyways, hi, Caroline. How are you? It's 11:36 a.m. Sunday the 30th. Oh, oh, okay. That's not bad. That's not bad. You can handle 11. That's almost lunchtime over there. Adam's here, like I said, he's just I think he's primping his hair, if I'm not mistaken. Pretty sure it was the hair. And he has to look more beautiful than us, Alexa. Yeah. By the way, I always love that color on you.
Oh, thank you. I didn't
Such
know
a
what
great
to wear. It was a
yeah.
little chilly, and I'm like, there we go.
It's always such a great color
Thank you,
on you,
thank you, thank
especially
you.
with your
Thank
blonde.
you.
Yeah, and then the black. Anyways,
Thank
so,
you.
you guys, tonight we're going to be talking about the Suzanne Morphew case, but I did want to point out something, and I'll play a video about at some point during the live. If anyone kind of has seen the pinned comment, just to make a longer story short, basically, my brother-in-law has been here for 2.5 years. His name is Ryan Austin, and whatever happened, uh, basically we couldn't renew his immigration here on that same program. So because all of this happened in a very short period of time recently, we were just so panicked, and I cannot beyond tell you the stress that we have all been going through. Just crazy stress. It ended up being that we literally had to go to an immigration lawyer today, because that was the only way, like, meaning anyone that's dealt with any immigration or knows anyone, even if you're in the US, it's not a simple process for the brain. You go to their website, you feel like you're a dog spinning around, you call them up after waiting all the time, and stuff like that. And it's a horrendous process when you literally only have less than 2 weeks to figure something out. Anyways, we ended up going to the immigration to talk to the lawyer to tell us what the best route was not expecting $6,000. Okay. Was not even, I was thinking 1,000, right? For a work permit, LMIA thing or whatever. Anyway, so if you guys see in the pinned comments, so if anyone, let me just put it this way. I'll play a video later, but if anyone has extra spare change in their pockets to help my brother-in-law out, it would really mean a lot. If you don't, doesn't matter. It's okay. It's just, I'm just trying to do my part because I know that he's absolutely stressed, and that's pretty much wiping him out of his money plus more. Plus, he won't be able to work regardless for at least a month and a half or whatever. So it's just put a lot of stress. So I apologize for not doing as many lives or videos and stuff like that. But as like, I don't deal with stress well. But anyways, right, immigration is very tough. And had we had more time and been prepared, then we could have done it ourselves. But honestly, this was one of those things that, and sadly, like, we thought we did everything right. Apparently not. Um, apparently couldn't renew that one. So it just became a desperation act pretty much to make sure that he can stay in Canada and still be able to work, or knowing that he won't be able to work for a little bit until his work permit comes in again, hopefully once everything's said and done. But that's what those lawyers are for, and that's why they charge the excess dollars. You know, normally it would probably cost around 1,500, not 6,000. But you know, this is something that's up their alley. It's a very complicated process, the LMIA, and that's the one that a lot of workers, whether it's in the U.S. or whether it's in Canada, you know, is the one where you bring in foreign workers in a sense. You know, my brother-in-law works with my husband, and they've been working together side by side. So the stress of my husband losing his brother and then him having to possibly go back to England was just beyond belief stress. Anyways, I am in Vancouver, Canada. That's where we live. And my brother-in-law is from England. His name is Ryan. So, anyways, again,
you would think that because it's part of the Commonwealth that it would be, you know, some kind of they wouldn't even need permits. I understand the U.S., but I mean Canada.
Yeah, you would think, considering I live in British Columbia, so you would think that they would be welcome regardless. Very easy. No, not the case. They don't have to have a visa. Like certain countries don't have to have a visa, of course, to come into like. I know the rules for the U.S. coming into Canada are a lot better. You know, they don't need so many things like they used to and stuff like that. But it's a whole different process, and immigration has changed in Canada over the last five so years. Definitely. Well, hopefully it really it's not a seal and deal, Caroline. Nothing is until you literally have the approval for the LMIA by the employer, the paperwork, and so it was kind of like three components. It was like 3,000 for the work permit, to $2,500 for them to do the LMIA, to get that in there ASAP, and then another $1,000 on top of that for the employer to, which in saying that, it's because he needs that is the reason, because where my husband and brother-in-law and my twin sister and sister-in-law work, like they've never hired from LMIA before, so it's because of Ryan that the employer, you know, is doing it, but it's not really his, you know, money. It's not, you know what I mean? It's because of Ryan. But anyways, so just being said on that. And plus we were just waiting for, there's Adam there. And it's so hard. We nearly went to Canada, but ended up in Oz instead, even though born in England and always lived there. We all had to do an English test, right? There's nothing more English, I'll tell you, than my husband who's from England.
Right.
And my brother-in-law. Yeah.
Sonny, you know, did you suggest my my idea to him about a different type of visa he might be able to get if your sister just married him?
Oh, you know what was funny? The immigration lawyer says, "Well, unless you can find someone to marry right away, you know." I'm like,
that's the easiest way to get it.
I mean, I said it was two birds, one stone. I mean, he's a good-looking guy. Tanya's a single lady.
Not a hope in HOHG double hockey sticks, right? No. I wouldn't put that curse, no. But anyways, so you guys, again, so we're going to be talking about Suzanne Morphew, and like I said, and I'll play the video for that whole thing a little bit later on in the video, just for my brother-in-law, just to kind of, because I did put together a little video, nothing major, just basically asking people for help. I hate doing it. It's one of the most embarrassing things ever to me, but this is beyond me. This is for my brother-in-law. So, but anyways, it's just, you know, you don't mind giving, but it's really hard to try asking, you know. But anyways, so Tish Leeway, she's one of Suzanne's dearest and closest friends, and she might join us tonight. She has plans, but you know, when I seen her on one of the videos that we'll be watching, I thought to myself, wait a second, she's on my messenger, you know, and you know, her and I think it was, oh, I think I want to say Carol Abrams. No, Carla Abrams. And there was so many people that did some wonderful things. But Tish, like I said, they would build up the Christmas tree for Suzanne Morphew. You know, just did so much. There was so many people that have done so much for the Suzanne Morphew case. And again, it's a case that means a lot to me. I'm so, so glad that they have found her remains. But, you know, so with that being said, before I get into a video, because I'm going to show a video for Suzanne Morphew and just bring people up to speed that don't really know. Is there anything that Alexa or Adam that you guys want to say in regards to Suzanne at all? Or
I mean, good, Alexa.
No, not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Well, let me play the video, and it's a few different videos kind of put together, and it's going to be about approximately 15 minutes long. Okay, guys.
Okay.
All right. So let me video file. So we'll be back in about that time. Morphew, a beautiful mother of two girls, Mallory and Macy, and her husband, Barry Morphew. So, of course, back on May 10th of 2020, Suzanne Morphew disappeared on Mother's Day. Besides a bike being found down an embankment near their home, for 3.5 years, we have been wanting and wishing so much for Suzanne's remains to be found. So finally, on September 22nd of 2023, while investigators were looking at a different investigation that they were on, they came across two bodies, one in July, and then, of course, Suzanne's in September. So Suzanne was found, her remains, in Moffat. And so let me take you down there. And the trip is about 48 minutes from the Maysville area to get down to Moffat. So this area right here is where Suzanne Morphew was found.
New images within the last 45 minutes. Colorado Bureau of Investigation says crews returned to Saguache County today to search the site where the remains of Suzanne Morphew were found. This happened just outside of the town of Moffat by authorities, but they won't say where. More than 36 investigators from multiple agencies are helping with this investigation. Suzanne Morphew went missing on Mother's Day 2020. We're learning more about the discovery of the remains of Suzanne Morphew, the Salida mom who went missing on Mother's Day of 2020. The Colorado Bureau of Investigation announced it had discovered her remains near the town of Moffat.
That's about 2 hours southwest of Colorado Springs and not far from Sand Dunes National Park in Saguache County. KRDO News Channel 13's Annabelle Childers is live in Moffat at the area. Locals believe that discovery happened. Annabelle?
We are right off Highway 17 in Moffat, surrounded by bits and pieces of caution tape, and you can see two pieces right there tied to these plants. Now, the Colorado Bureau of Investigation will not confirm that this is exactly where Suzanne Morphew's remains were found, but several locals, including the Moffat fire chief, believe it is because they say they saw investigators here for multiple days over the weekend.
It's not what we want to be known for. Yeah, and so it's a mixed bag.
Through nervous laughter, Jane's reflecting on all the attention currently on her small town. Over the weekend, the Colorado Bureau of Investigation discovered two bodies in Moffat while searching for a different missing woman. And shocking the nation, they announced they found the remains of Suzanne Morphew, the Salida mom missing since 2020.
I was relieved that they finally found her, and maybe they can resolve who the culprit was.
The Moffett fire chief and multiple locals believe they saw CBI crews working to recover her. They say they saw multiple law enforcement vehicles in this area for about 3 to 4 days, and while driving to work, they saw one person waist deep in the ground working. And another resident who works at a Dollar General in Moffett says she saw a helicopter flying above this area on Saturday in a, quote, grid pattern. Jane says she's been following the disappearance of Suzanne closely and actually ran into her multiple times in Salida before she went missing. She believes this discovery is one more step toward the truth.
Some resolve, some closure with it for everybody.
Again, it's unclear if this is the exact site where Suzanne Morphew's remains were found. We reached out to CBI today, but they say they will not provide any more information at this time. Reporting live in Moffett, Annabelle Childers, KRDO, News Channel 13.
Next tonight to a top story we first brought to you as breaking news last night. More than 3 years after her disappearance, the remains of Suzanne Morphew have been found in Moffett. It's about 45 minutes south of the Salida area where she lived. Well, tonight we're learning Suzanne's remains were discovered while CBI was searching for another woman, Edna Quintana. And this isn't the first time that the search for Edna led to human remains. Gabriela Vidal spoke with Edna's sister tonight. Gabby.
Yeah, and she's a mother of 5. And of course, this family has been mourning her disappearance for the last 4 months since this happened. Now, Edna's, her family says that the mother disappeared back in May, and questions around that still remain as to what happened. And now with Morphew and the discovery of another body this summer in Saguache County, they hope this case brings even more attention to hers.
She's caring and she cares about family. She loves her kids.
Marilyn Quintana is speaking to me from a remote part of Saguache, Colorado. While the cell reception is unclear, what is clear, the pain her entire family continues to feel for her sister, 56-year-old Edna Quintana, now missing since May 3rd.
Me and my mom and my brother were worried she hadn't came over because she was coming over every day, if not every other day.
Marilyn says it wasn't until a few days later her cousin told her Edna went hiking with a boyfriend on May 3rd. At one point, Edna went back down the mountain, but the boyfriend couldn't find her when he went back to the car. CBS Colorado is not naming him at this time as he's not yet been listed as a suspect. The details about what happened to Edna are still fuzzy, but it's in her search that other remains have been found in Saguache County. James Montoya's body found in July while the Colorado Bureau of Investigation was searching for Edna.
Well, I was shocked and surprised, that the person was all the way from Lakewood all the way here in Saguache, and I don't know, I feel for the family too. I mean, we're going through the same thing, but at least they have closure. Just like the one that they found in Moffett. They have closure now, too, even though it was 3 years.
Well, CBI wouldn't confirm with CBS Colorado who they were searching for when they discovered the remains of Suzanne Morphew this week. Barry Morphew's attorney says in part, quote, it was the Saguache County officials that fortunately stumbled onto Suzanne's remains last week while looking for another missing woman, Edna Quintana.
It's frustrating because we just want her to be found. We just wanted to know what happened.
The CBI has still not provided any press conference or additional comment on Quintana or the recent discovery of Morphew's remains, but we will continue to monitor this as more information becomes available. Karen?
Yeah, Gabby, hopefully they'll be able to find her. That would be great. Yeah.
3 years of searching, and investigators finally found the body of the woman who went missing on Mother's Day 2020.
It was an unrelated investigation that finally led deputies to Suzanne Morphew's body in Saguache County. Tonight, a source familiar with the investigation told 9 News they discovered skeletal remains and identified Suzanne based on dental records and her cancer report. She disappeared from her home in Salida in 2020. Prosecutors eventually arrested her husband, Barry Morphew, charged him with murder. They dropped those charges last year, just 9 days before he said to go on trial. They said they wanted to go to trial once they found Suzanne's body.
Last Friday, they finally did, near the town of Moffett, about 45 minutes south of the Morphew's home. 9 News reporter Jennifer Meckles is in Salida tonight. And Jenny, investigators have not made any new arrests following today's news.
Nope, nothing that we know of at this time, Alex. This case had, for most people, pretty much gone cold. It had been 3 years since anything happened. No current suspects in the case after those charges were dismissed. So it certainly came as a surprise today for folks both here in Salida and around the country who have been following for such a big break in the case. More than 3 years after Suzanne disappeared, many still held hope answers would eventually come.
Someone needs to keep her name out there until she was found, and now we will continue to do it until she gets full justice.
Tisha Leeway spent years getting to know Suzanne at the salon, small town connections. When Suzanne disappeared on Mother's Day 2020, Tisha helped plan search parties. Learning investigators finally found something comes as a relief.
I think it's great that they found, her remains, and now people can finally, I guess, get a sense of relief that now we can move forward as far as being able to find the justice that she deserves now.
The Colorado Bureau of Investigation won't say the exact location where they found Suzanne's remains last Friday, only that it is near Moffett. You're looking at an aerial view of that part of Saguache County. Investigators were on site for a different case when they came across Suzanne's remains, positively identified on Wednesday by the El Paso County coroner.
The FBI, the CBI, the sheriff's department has always, the sheriff especially department has always said, we need her body to finish this case out. So, my thing is you've got her body, let's finish this case.
A huge discovery in this case. Friends hope will finally lead to some answers.
First of all, who did it? Obviously, the obvious answer that everybody wants to know. Why? Why did this happen to someone like her? It shouldn't happen to anybody, but someone, as genuine as her, like, why? But I guess, just the biggest question is who did this? And let's bring them to justice and put them, where they need to be.
Our team reached out to several members of Suzanne's family today. We were unable to connect with any of them. We also don't know if investigators have spoken to her husband, Barry Morphew. Our team reached out to his attorney today, but when we spoke with her, all this information about finding the remains was actually news to her at that point. That was mid-afternoon, guys.
And you mentioned the husband. I mean, we remember very clearly prosecutors saying that this was the missing piece. They needed her body in order to file charges again against him. And I think a lot of people were wondering tonight, will that happen again, and potentially how quickly?
Yeah, that was one of the first questions this friend said to me today is, okay, we have this piece, now what happens next, and does it include him?
Mm-hmm. All right, lots more to come on this for sure. Ginny, thank you.
So at this point, investigators aren't talking, not the CBI, not the sheriff's office, not the Chaffee County DA who filed the original charges against Barry Morphew. 9 News reporter Mark Salinger walks us through the months of searching and that aborted murder trial.
It's been more than 3 years since Suzanne Morphew was last seen. 3 years since the day law enforcement believed she was killed. Investigators say this is the final picture Suzanne took on the afternoon of May 9th, 2020. It's the last piece of evidence that shows her alive. She sent the picture to a man in Michigan she was having an affair with. Suzanne was reported missing the following afternoon. The first deputies to arrive at the Morphew home found her mountain bike nearby in the woods off the road.
Can you try to call the husband and see what type of bike she has?
My daughter, she's at Barry's house.
Okay. All right,
Her husband, Barry, arrived home that evening after he says he was on a work trip in Broomfield. He immediately asks if an animal could have killed her.
Lion? Yeah, it was just like lion.
No, a lion? Mountain lion?
For months, state and federal investigators searched for Suzanne and any clues that might lead to answers. On May 13th, 2020, her bike helmet was found near the road. On May 22nd of that year, the FBI searched through a construction site in Salida that Barry had been working on.
I believe the house is just below us right now.
In September of 2020, Suzanne's brother Andy couldn't stand by and watch any longer. He organized a team of dozens of volunteers from around the country to search for Suzanne. Each search turned up few results.
Please, we'll do whatever it takes to bring you back.
It wasn't until May 5th, 2021, nearly a year after Suzanne went missing, that Barry was arrested.
And I wouldn't bring charges unless I was confident.
District Attorney Linda Stanley charged Barry with murder in the disappearance of his missing wife. She didn't reveal what evidence she had, but promised the public there was enough to convict him.
And it's about all the individuals that knew her and loved her and cared about her.
After a year of preliminary hearings and pretrial court appearances, prosecutors dropped the charges against Barry, saying they don't have a case without the testimony of the expert witnesses the judge ruled to exclude from trial.
That's what innocence looks like right there.
How do you feel, Barry?
Barry Morphew's attorneys just got us a statement while that story was airing. They told us, quote, Barry is with his daughters, and they're all struggling with immense shock and grief. They had faith that their wife and mom would walk back into their lives again. Morphew's defense team says that law enforcement did not notify the Morphew children that their mother's body had been found. They insist that Barry Morphew is innocent. He could be charged again since prosecutors dropped his previous charges before the trial started.
If additional evidence points at Barry Morphew, the prosecution's not really going to have any problem at all refiling the charges. The case was dismissed without prejudice. On the other hand, if someone else is implicated, all of the evidence that seemingly pointed at Barry Morphew is going to be used by the defense. It all depends on who, if anyone, the district attorney charges in this homicide case.
The DA handling this case is facing an investigation of her own. A state counsel is looking into allegations of misconduct against DA Linda Stanley after a complaint by Barry Morphew's lawyers. Back in April, his attorneys asked the Colorado Supreme Court's Office of Attorney Regulation Counsel to investigate allegations of unethical behavior. That group has the power to discipline attorneys across the state. That same counsel has censured Stanley for misconduct in a previous case. Barry Morphew is also suing the DA along with the state and federal investigators.
Okay, that was for $15 million. So again, there's Suzanne Morphew's so-called bike. That's going to be the cheap bike, not her expensive bike. That was put down over this embankment near her home on May 10th. And just quickly, I'm just going to get this in there. Mr. Electric, I don't know if you watched the last live, but I was apologizing to you and peace because, like I said, with the whole immigration thing, it's been nuts around here, absolutely crazy. So I'm apologizing. I apologized the last live that things have to get put to the side while I have to deal with this stuff first. So I just wanted, if you didn't hear that last time, I just wanted to say that. So my apologies. Okay, I don't deal with stressful. I don't like stress. I don't like stress. And this was very stressful. It's been very stressful, and it still is. So, but anyways, okay. So besides share screen, hold on a second here as well, because we will go in. So that's the lawyer, Iris Etten. I like how she says, that's an innocent man right there. If anyone like myself, who has been following the case of Suzanne Morphew, and I was right from the very beginning, Barry Morphew is definitely not no innocent man, regardless if he's ever brought charges against him again. I myself, in my own opinion, absolutely feel like Barry Morphew took the life of his wife, planted the bike there, threw the helmet that way, and Barry Morphew has acted ridiculously strange from the get-go, from when his wife went missing. Yeah. Hence that she basically told him a few days before that I'm done. I don't care what you do anymore, etc., etc. I still believe that he knew about the affair, or maybe during that on the 9th, when they were having the argument or whatever, that maybe she blurted out something to him, or he just simply knew. But regardless, myself, okay, so I'll say 99.99999% I believe it's Barry Morphew. But knowing that there is a lot of people in the Colorado area that, have lost their lives, and that I think they say Saguache area. Like you said, I mean, not only were they on an investigation for Edina, that then they also found in July the body of, what was his name here? It was James Montoya. Okay, so James Montoya was the second body that was found, and then Suzanne Morphew's September 22nd. And in a minute here, I'll read the statement from Barry's lawyer. I can't stand looking at this lady myself personally. I don't know. I just I don't like her. I don't like her.
Right.
I just never been a fan of hers. But you know what? They came in. They basically, like, everything kind of turned upside down. Linda Stanley came in, and everyone, she was all gung ho. Next thing you know, Barry Morphew's arrested. And then it turned out to be a circus act of, that they literally had to pull back to what is it called again? Prejudice thing or whatever it's called. And let Barry Morphew off, and out of jail there until one day, possibly, if he gets tried again, because they have been saying that if they find, like during the time when they hadn't located Suzanne's body, that they just needed to find her body. So it will be very interesting to know if his GPS on his truck was in that area. There'll be a few interesting things.
Sorry to interrupt, but didn't he reset his GPS like a day before this happened?
Well, there are 4 to 5 hours missing from his vehicle's computer tracking system, which I don't think you can actually go in and do yourself, but it's a matter of just because it's a computer, so it rewrites over old material, so it's not uncommon that there's material lost in those vehicle data things.
Because I think I
But
read
he
an
may have
article
reset his GPS. I'm just talking about the 4 to 5 hours that are missing from the vehicle computer.
Yeah.
Which he wouldn't have access to that.
So we'll see. And you're right, Moonshadow. She says if the body is not wearing white clothes, it's definitely Barry.
Well, I think two things are I think we can rule out self-harm. I think we can rule out her running off, and I think it's pretty safe to rule out mountain lions.
I forgot about that.
Oh, it's the first thing he said. Remember in the body cam?
Know.
Oh, mountain lion.
Mountain
There's
lion.
the bike, mountain lion.
Mountain lion. Yeah. Like if for people that don't know this case, Barry Morphew himself as the husband is a shit husband. I'll tell you that much. If my husband acted the way that he did, if he had nothing to do with it, which to me is a crock of crap myself, but obviously, allegedly, that's just my opinion, whatever, and a lot of everybody else's too. Yeah, I can't. Yeah, I don't know.
Right. And I know Alexa's looking for something, but something I was a little confused about, and I don't pretend to know. When I was watching different articles and I was reading different articles, and I know I've heard people present it both ways. I've heard that that they found this man in July, and then I heard that they found 2 more bodies in September, and very close together. And then I've heard that the other body they're referring to is James from the summer. So I'm a little confused by that because they haven't released the identity. If there is another person, they haven't released that name. So until we get a little bit more clarification there, I'm not going to say one way or another because I've heard it both ways.
So in saying that, so from what I personally know out of myself is that so far all I know about is James. They're looking for Adina, and they found Suzanne.
Right.
That's what I personally heard. I didn't hear about this other one that you're talking about. That possibly too.
I thought I heard that there was 3. Before, I heard like the way one of the police in an interview, he made it sound like they found 3 with Suzanne now. I think was a man, a woman, and Suzanne.
There's again that okay, this is what's throwing me off. I do want to say what's throwing me off is, okay, Barry's no dumbass. He might be a dumbass in certain ways. You know how people kind of like Kagan Klein, he might be a dumbass in certain ways. I shouldn't maybe say dumbass, but I'll say dumbass. But in other ways, he knew the computer, he knew exactly what to do, and he became very experienced in how to lure people, because it just becomes your forte. So with Barry is a hunter. He's was a part-time or a volunteer fireman as well. So when it comes to hunting and when it comes to the outdoor, Barry was doing that since he was a kid.
He has the advantage,
Yeah,
definitely.
in Indiana. So to
Mhm.
me personally, and one second, Adam, and I'm just gonna go to the Google Earth here, and I'm just gonna let's see here. Just gonna go back to search. Go back. Go back. Okay. So just letting the thing. Okay. So for her, to me, like this is what doesn't make sense to me. For somebody that's so experienced with being in the outdoors, that literally he would go down pretty much a straight line past Moffat and only bury her just like right here. Like for me it just seems strange because you know I think it was that, remember, I don't know if you guys remember this, but remember one of the workers, something like that, or Barry Morphew said that something like almost to say like he would know what to do. He like in order to never find a body type of thing. And so for some reason I can't wrap my head myself around the fact that in a straight line and a little bit off of that straight line past Moffat, that Barry would be, to me, stupid enough and not go in further somewhere, then why right off of the road, a main road at that? Now, I get the area is that sagebrush and all that stuff, but I find that strange for someone that's experienced hunter, that if she would just be off the side of a main road. That one. Does anybody else think that?
Well, and I agree with you, but I do think even if you're an experienced hunter, it's still going to be it's not every day that you probably do this to your spouse.
Exactly.
And so I think that's going to create a little bit more panic. And I see that article last night where it said locals have said this would be the perfect place to dispose of someone.
Well,
because it's
that whole
deserted. It's and there's no one around. And if it was 4 or 5 in the morning, I mean, look at how flat that area is. You would see headlights coming in plenty of time to get back in your car, do whatever you needed to do.
But he could have gone out way further and not even been inside of nobody's view.
Yeah, he's lazy. I mean, where would he go? I mean, unless he went up in the mountains.
And nobody. To be honest with you, I mean, in my opinion, like I've been reading, I'm not as familiar, and I'm not an expert like you two on this case, but I've been reading and doing a lot, of research on this case. And what I think it happened is this wasn't planned. I think he probably got there. They got into a fight probably because she didn't answer his messages.
She was probably on WhatsApp.
He probably unalived her, in the spur of the moment. And I think when you have premeditation, then you can think ahead. I think it happened, and then he panicked, and he was still good at covering because he has that background. But I think this is one of the things that he panicked and he didn't think through.
Right. I can see that.
I do. Once that came out, I agree. At first, everyone thought it was something that was planned. But when you go back and kind of look at it, it seems more of a spontaneous thing. Like, obviously, their marriage had been disintegrating, especially with the Suzanne side for a long time. Barry's a man's man, almost like
ego-driven.
Like, you're not going to do this to me. Yeah. Full narcissist.
And also the embarrassment, because imagine usually I guess we're used to the man cheating, but if almost a woman, how dare you? And I mean, I'm not saying cheating because I don't agree. I think that was bad. I think if you don't love your spouse anymore and you want to be with somebody else, just leave.
Don't have your cake and eat it too, right?
But we know there are a lot of layers there. You've got 2 kids, they're almost out of the house. I get the complexity there, but you know, I mean, he deleted that text message that she had sent him saying we need to figure out how to do this civilly. You know, this is over. And you know, we know that, you know, the last WhatsApp message she sent her partner, which Mr. Electric asked if she was having an affair, and yes, she did have a boyfriend that she had reconnected with through Facebook. But and she, you know, on the 9th, she had sent a message on WhatsApp, and it was just minutes later that Barry was reported to have gotten home. So maybe he walked in and she was video chatting her lover.
Right.
That's enough to send, you know, any narcissist.
Maybe he grabbed her phone, saw what she was doing. Who
chased
knows?
her around the house.
Yeah, you know, absolutely. Like for me personally, like I said, I feel in my heart from the moment that Barry Morphew even did that interview, to me it was just clear as day that was disingenuous. That plea to bring Suzanne home. It makes me absolutely puke when I personally see, you know, that Barry's in shock and that, you know, whatever. I mean, I can understand the girls being in shock and stuff like that, but I'm not exactly too fond of how they acted either, but way more forgiveness there than how Barry acted. And Barry, the only time Barry would speak was when he was attacking back, because you know, other than that, he wasn't like, he didn't even join in on the search for his wife with Andy, the brother. Barry, again, the only time he talked on the interviews was just to attack. And then he tried to show like some Valentine Day letter, you know, from Suzanne and stuff like that. Sorry, buddy, just don't buy it. Never did. For me personally, I want to see justice for Suzanne, whoever it is, regardless if it's Barry or not, doesn't matter. Just that everything that Barry did, if anyone followed this case from the start, Barry's actions were not that of a loving husband or what any husband that I would ever want to ever do for me. It was just crazy the way he acted. And yeah, I mean, and there's so many weird things in between all of that he did and stuff like that. The night before, Suzanne's Facebook, you know, even though she would have been deceased, her Facebook was logged into that night of the 9th. Or I can't remember if it was the night of the 9th or into the morning. It was like around 12 o'clock or something at night, I believe, that her Facebook was logged into. And her phone, you know, pinged at like, what was it? Like, what was it, 4:23?
Can't remember.
Or something. It was like pinged at like 4:23. And Gray Hughes, if you ever watch this, your helmet is supposed to be west, not east. He had the helmet totally off of where the helmet was. And I was like, fix your helmet, buddy. But anyways, he did a really good job. I don't usually watch Gray Hughes myself, but I did happen to watch it because I think Adam, you sent me the link for it.
Yeah,
Somebody sent me it.
because he had found that you know, the location. So I was watching it last night.
Yeah. Well, exactly.
And you know, I think, you know, it's interesting to always to remember as well, you know, no one knows no one knows exactly what's going on inside a house, you know, anyone's house. But when you have multiple people, we have Suzanne's sister, we have Suzanne's friends, all Suzanne's lover, all telling a similar version of Suzanne's state of mind and where Suzanne was at in her relationship with Barry. And they're all very similar. But then you have Barry's take on everything that's happening, and his is so far off that, you know, do you believe the people who are unrelated but all of their stories kind of align, or do you believe Barry's story, that he came home, they had a perfectly wonderful evening, had dinner, made love, and went to bed? Because that side of that story doesn't connect with the story that we are hearing from Suzanne's sister, her friends, and Jeff.
I just quickly want to say this. Mr. Electric says, you know, I had to stop my dad from taking my mother's life over this same thing. If I hadn't been there, he would have taken her life. Betrayal of love brings out the worst in people. It's not me. Prisons are full. Absolutely. Like, look how many cases that it's it's just, I don't like, some people have certain types of anger that they almost forget who they are as a person. Yeah. And they see black, and the anger is just, you know,
especially if they drink, if they're drinkers,
and
forget
add
it.
more to it. Absolutely. But it's there's so many cases to me out there that where it wasn't intended to happen. Oh.
I'm tired of that song.
£4.99. Thank you. Sorry I'm behind on this case. Did they find other remains of Suzanne? Serial killer. Is this connected to other missing persons?
So that is yet to be determined. And thank you, Miss Dog Lover. Love you, Miss Dog Lover is from the UK. So we don't know about finding other remains, although I did see a Reddit post saying that second remains were found. So I wonder if that's why they're back searching over there, because they're looking for more remains, or perhaps, you know, because they're at one of the videos that I just played for you guys, you know, like the one that Adam had sent me. It was like a 39-second clip basically showing that they're back there, that there's over 3 dozen multi-agencies working on the case. There was a whole slew of people out there with I think it was an excavator was in there, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So it's possible that.
And there is another high profile case, not too far from the area, of a missing woman who's been missing since 2018.
That would so that would be ironic, because that would mean it was probably more of an SK, perhaps.
Right. Or it just ends up being an weird you know, dumping ground that multiple, you know, people have been like, hey, this looks good. Could, you know, kind of like Long Island.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. I personally think that there might be an SK, but if you look at, I came across a couple of people mentioning that there were.
Alexa, your thing's staticky.
Okay,
Sorry.
you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, so I was doing some research and I came across that somebody had mentioned that, but I was looking at the other women that seemed to be missing, and the type, like the victimology, doesn't match to Suzanne.
No,
I think there were 9 in total, but only I think 3 match almost like Suzanne's type. And what I mean victimology, sometimes we go with physical appearance, we go age. The other ones look completely different. They're older women. They have salt and pepper hair, completely different. So but then I think it's almost like the Long Island is the terrain is one of those that it's easy, I guess, to go and dispose bodies. So I think the chances of finding bodies there are probably higher. So I think but when it comes to Suzanne, I don't think she's the victim of SK. I can almost guarantee. I honestly doubt it.
I said that to Sunny last night. I said, you know, because I followed the Crystal Reisinger case for a long time now too. And I said to Sunny, I said it would be so ironic if they found, you know, her at the same time, because you couldn't get 2 more different people than Suzanne and Crystal. And I'm not saying anything negative about either of them. They're just there would be no way that they would fit into the same person's target for a victim.
Now, Diana S. is saying that John Kelly did a 10-minute video today and said that there are remains found next to nearby Suzanne. That's all I heard. I don't know. I seen a Reddit thing pop up saying second remains found, Suzanne. So, maybe I'm probably going to think probably because of the fact that they were showing pictures. And I would probably think that they were still probably Suzanne. So, you know, myself.
But even if they're found next to it, doesn't mean it was the same person. Because look at Long Island. You know, there you have 10 bodies and only 4 are his, and they were back to back to back. I'm not saying he's wrong. It's a good possibility too. But I think if you look at the victimology, I don't know. To me it doesn't seem, but anything could be possible. But in my experience, I don't think so.
You know, right, exactly. And, again, for anyone that doesn't know, Alexa, go ahead and talk about yourself for a minute again.
Criminologist, former criminologist, criminal and behavioral analyst. Did crimes profiling, data for crime prevention, body. Also, I do graphology and body language expert. So,
Yeah.
that's basically. And I hate talking about myself. It's like basically, a criminologist. Basically, that follows everything.
Yeah. Well, again, like I said, you have valuable insight and information. And like I said, regardless of what experience you have, which of course, obviously, helps when you're saying stuff because it gives people that aren't in that field more insight about, the different cases or how things kind of like with Delphi, like what is more prone to be this way, to look at it and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's always nice having the different perspectives on different people's thoughts, regardless. That I'm not a crime specialist. We got the crime specialist. We got the whatever the whatever guru here. The what do you want to call it? The psychic guru that couldn't pick the spot for Suzanne either.
Oh yeah, she was completely off.
I thought she was in the house. I think no, I mean nobody picked San Wachi, I don't think. Like meaning the area was looked in certain areas and stuff like that. In Suwachi here or Suwatch, sorry. But I would have, if I had to put money down, I would have said she was underneath of that cement on that house he was building at the beachfront one there. Only because I kept having dreams where it was almost like, unless it turns out that he ever freaking moved her, which was possible because he wasn't even arrested till later. Even though again he acted all strange, but I just kept having dreams of a redhead and like when you're building a house foundation, but I had that before knowing about the house foundation. Well, not really, but it was just one of those things I just kept having dreams. So people up there need to put a little bit more better direction up here. But yeah.
But I think that was too obvious. I think if he would have buried her there, it would have been too obvious.
I know, but it was because what husband goes back to work when his wife is missing and sits there and pours cement? Like, dude, your wife is missing and you're sitting there going back to work like it's just another day.
Granted, that is a little bit more of a risky way to dispose of someone in this day and age because of ground penetrating radar.
Right, exactly.
And,
I was going to say,
and if that's your occupation, I mean, it's not going to take Sherlock Holmes to check that.
Lisa says that you never let Ed Aspen talk about himself, and that's his favorite subject. I do want to go over this for a second. Right, hold on, right here.
Anna, that's been my feeling too. I said I knew all I need to know about Barry the second I knew that he did that to Deer. So I think it's called poaching. Yeah.
Okay. Actually, you guys, I think I'm going to do that video for my brother-in-law. I'm just going to do that now just to give me a couple minute break just to go so I can go to the washroom myself quickly. And then we'll get back into the Suzanne stuff and then the letter from the lawyer. Okay. So this basically is just if anyone has any extra thing to spare, again, just listen to it. And then we'll come back to Suzanne. And that way we can just grab a drink or go bathroom or something like that. So 1 second here.
Yeah, exactly. He had to go work on that Sunday, but he never worked because he was too tired so he went and slept in the hotel room all day.
Right. Okay. So you guys, just quickly, the video I'm about to play is totally off the subject. It's to do exactly with the help for Ryan Austin, my brother-in-law. Again, it's going to cost $6,000 if anybody does have anything to give. And I really hate saying that or whatever, but I would, I'm doing this because I feel like it's the right thing to do. So anyways, I'm just going to play that video. Okay, guys. And then we'll come back and talk about Suzanne. Hey everyone, this is Sunny Justice with It's a Criming Shame. So before we get into the Suzanne Morphew live tonight, I'm gonna be a little bit cheeky and ask you guys for some help if you're able to. So my brother-in-law, Ryan Austin, is on a work visa here. It's called a holiday work visa. And we did not know that you could not extend it. So when we found out last week, we were in such a panic mode because the expiry date said that then he would have to leave and go back to England. And we didn't know what to do. We have been so stressed and so panicked. And it's just weighing on my heart watching my husband and watching my brother-in-law go underneath such stress along with myself, because this would have flipped our family upside down in many different ways. My husband losing his partner to work with, which is Ryan. So anyways, bottom line is that we ended up having to go to a consult lawyer today for immigration. And when I seen her write down those numbers, I was personally in shock. I was not expecting the amount to be $6,000. That is literally just beyond what I thought, or we thought, that this would cost it all to get a work permit of some sort or figure out the best solution. Anyways, most people that have come into Canada through LMIA, which is a program that is deemed specific kind of to the employers bringing in foreign workers. And anyways, that's really one of the routes that most people use. And then at some point they can apply to become a permanent citizen as well. Anyways, I would just like to ask if there's anybody here that could possibly help donate to Ryan's $6,000 fee that he's going to have to pay. He's already put $1,200 into it, but the $6,000 is just way beyond the amount of money, really, that without wiping him out. Plus he can't work until he's allowed to get his work permit again, which could take a month and a half. Who knows? He will be without work. So obviously for us, we have valued Ryan being here with us, but as well for the financial aid that he's helped with within ourselves. Anyways, so if anybody could donate, we would love it very much and be very grateful. So thank you very much. And I just wanted to, just see if anyone could help. But if you can't, it's okay. Love you anyway. So if you can, the links are up pinned to the top. There's the PayPal, and then there's also the Coffee app. That way YouTube doesn't take any of the money. So if you do donate, just put in the chat that you've donated, so that way I can give you a holler. And if you've done as well, the coffee, same thing. So again, thank you guys so much for listening to me, and swallow some pride sometimes. And sometimes, like a lot of people from my husband's work there, from Ryan's work, said, hey, if you need anything, just let us know. My husband was like, I can't believe that people are actually calling to ask us if they can be of help to us. My husband was in shock because he's not really used to that. But anyways, I'm just trying to do my part. Thank you guys again so much for listening. Okay. Anyways, so I just played that. So again, I'll leave that where it lies there. It really embarrasses me, to be honest with you. I don't like asking. I like giving. I don't like asking. But anyways, but I appreciate anything you guys do. Okay. So going back to Suzanne Morphew. And there was, okay, so this was the first. Let me just see if you guys can see this. Okay. Maybe not. Maybe I'll bring us off screen for a minute. Okay. And thank you guys for the comments on the side there. And so it says Barry is with his daughters, and they are all struggling with immense shock and grief after learning today that their mother and wife, whom they deeply love, was found deceased. They had faith that their wife and mom would walk back into their lives again. The news is heartbreaking. Neither the DA nor the authorities notified Mallory and Macy Morphew about the recovery of their mom. From what we know, Barry is innocent, as he was from day one. Remember, this is coming from Iris. DA Stanley and the law enforcement got it wrong. We hope that the authorities will quickly admit their wrongful prosecution of Barry, an innocent man, to treat the Morphews like the victims they are and charge the person responsible for Suzanne's killing. The Morphews would appreciate their privacy during this deeply emotional and personal time. Okay, then this statement had just come out September 29th, which is obviously today. And it says, the first and foremost focus should be that the Morphews just learned that they lost their beautiful mother and wife after she disappeared 3.5 years ago. What appears to be the overriding focus is a finger pointing right back where it started 3.5 years ago, a movement to blindly reaccuse Barry for Suzanne's death. Here are the facts. And again, this is from Barry's lawyer. According to the authorities, Suzanne Morphew was not found anywhere in the vicinity of her home, the town nearby, or the county she lived in. She was found in Moffett, Colorado. Moffett is 45 miles south and about a 45-minute drive away from the Morphew home located in Maysville, Colorado. According to authorities who found Suzanne, her remains were found in a shallow grave in a dry desert field of sagebrush and natural grasses. Contrary to prior accusations, her remains were not found in a rocky mountainous region near her home, not in a location that was difficult to spot, to get to, or near the home, and impossible to get to due to being a mine or under frozen tundra and buried under 6 feet of snow. So that was what was said, or what people did think. Like when Linda Stanley was on the case, that's where a lot of people thought Suzanne was. So Barry was the most scrutinized, dissected, surveilled individual, minute by minute, hour by hour, using law enforcement cameras posted by his home, phone taps, and GPS devices placed on his car, all during the time frame of her disappearance and the years following. At no time did the FBI, CBI, Chief County Sheriff Office, or the DA's office pinpoint or even generally claim that Barry was in any area south of his home, near Moffett, or anywhere near Saguache. I always forget it. Like Saguache County at any relevant time frame. It would be ludicrous for anyone to now try to fit the now known facts to prior false assumptions and accusations. It was Saguache County officials that fortunately stumbled onto Suzanne's remains last week while looking for another missing woman. It's okay. It is. I thought it was Edina. I thought it was Edina. Pretty sure it's Edina, but who cares? Let's just say Edna Quintana. Law enforcement officials were supposedly looking for Suzanne. Were never looking for Suzanne in the Moffett area or area south of Maysville, because they only focused in on Barry being the suspect. And they knew that Barry was not south of Maysville and certainly not 45 miles south. The authorities focused their searches for Suzanne in the area near the Morphew home, utilizing his phone and car forensics. The authorities pointed to the locations where Barry was May 9th and May 10th, 2020. Barry was in Salida, or Salida, as some people say, north of his home, or in or near his home. And then on May 10th, 2020, at 5 a.m., drove to Broomfield, Colorado, a city 156 miles northwest of Maysville. He was never south of the house, but I mean, there's hours missing there. And that is why they did not search the area. CFBI's map relied upon by authorities about Barry's whereabouts on May 9th and May 10th of 2020. And then the Morphew's home, Barry's truck, Suzanne and daughter's vehicle were immediately searched for evidence of human remains in Suzanne's blood using both forensics and dog sniff searches. There was no forensic evidence of Suzanne's deceased body or blood found in any of the vehicles. What needs to be done, instead of finger pointing at Barry Morphew, is asking the officials about the number of missing people and the number of human remains that have been recovered in or from the Saguache County in the recent past. Saguache. Okay, bugging me. I remembered it and now I forget how to say it. Whatever happened to Crystal Bresinger, Edna Quintina, Suzanne, and the man whose remains were found by the S County Sheriff's Office in the foothills of July 26, 2023, or the remains of the person found in another area in the whatever Saguache County last weekend. More info to come from the authorities tomorrow. What were the circumstances of their disappearances? What is the cause and the manner of death of the remains found in the area? What happened to them? Are they looking for other remains in this area? The public should demand answers about these 5 people who suspiciously went missing or were found dead in this area. The Morphew family and legal team believe that CBI, local law enforcement, and the local DA's office have a conflict of interest and should not be involved in the future investigation of Suzanne's death. An objective and unbiased examination of Suzanne's death can only be conducted by an outside and independent team of investigators. When law enforcement focuses on one person and refuses to review evidence objectively and fairly, it is a disservice to the community and creates exactly what has come to light, years of unsolved murders. That's, of course, by Iris, Enton, and Jane, whatever, for the attorneys there. Okay. Come back to you guys. There we go. Okay, so I just wanted to read those because that had come out again today. I don't know. What do you think, Alexa?
I honestly think that they are just using it's the defense, so they're using whatever they can. Because I was actually reading the timeline, and there's actually certain things that point towards him that he was in the area. Like his phone. First, it was odd. Like, who puts his phone in plane mode when he's never done it before? This is like the first time he does it.
Exactly.
There were hours missing.
Yep.
So,
Sorry.
there's so many things. I mean, the helmet, it seems like staging to me. And he did ping, I think, a couple that he was close to where the helmet was left. And the daughters, the daughters bother me so much. You have no idea how much the daughters bother me. Because it's almost like, I guess because they think that, that's where the money is, I guess. The daughters have no loyalty to the mom. They never cared. So I don't know. Very strange family. So sad.
And hi, Dan. Hi, Daniel from the Drunk Turkey Show. And yes, so because Daniel brought it up, I'll just quickly say this. So obviously, most of us are aware, about Tupac, and that this guy here, what's his name again? Something Keith, something. What's his name again? Oh, it was on the tip of my head. I freaking should have known this because I just finished watching the video. The Keith guy, whatever his name is. Anyways, so he's been charged. So the way it sounded in the press conference and everything like that. Now this is Tupac is another case for me that always stuck with me as well.
Dwayne Davis.
Thank you. I don't know why I forgot it, but whatever. Dwayne Keith Davis. So he has been charged. So basically, you guys saw in the press conference that there was an argument that ensued, and I remember this back in the day, about whatever it was, the South Comptons, this Comptons, whatever, and that there was this like whole rivalry thing going on. But anyways, so there was an argument with why can't I think of names today? With Tupac and what's the other thing? Knight. What was it? Suge Knight, right? Yeah. And in this hotel.
Yeah, they were in Vegas for a Mike Tyson fight.
Yeah, thank you.
Was that 97? 97?
Yeah, 97, I believe it was.
It was 27 years ago.
Yeah. And so because of that, then of course, this piece of crap in front of you here, ordered for the life of Tupac to be taken. So basically, because it,
Tupac.
Yeah, Tupac.
You said Tupac.
Did I say Tupac that time? Did I? Okay. Shit, I should know. I know it's Tupac. And the reason why I should know that better saying that is because one of the songs at my grandma's funeral
Thank you, Daniel.
was one of his
96.
songs.
Sorry.
Yeah, September 7th. Oh, but that's what was crazy again, because note the date that he was when he passed away was on September 13th. Can we not get away from the 13th number?
Nope.
Nope. Just keeps following us around everywhere, doesn't it? But yeah, so I of course remember this back in the day, and it was one of those things that you felt like it was never going to be solved at some point, but lo and behold, here we go again. But it's like that they knew, but they didn't have the evidence, because obviously they would have known about this fight and blah, blah, blah. And the other people are deceased. Any other person involved, you see that? They're all deceased.
Yeah.
Right?
He apparently, he's said it himself multiple times over the last several years, you know, and it's important to note that in the state of Nevada, anyone participating in the act of a crime can be charged with a crime. And the example they used in the press conference was if someone robs a bank, and someone drives the getaway car and they never went into the bank, they're still charged with the bank robbery. And so, this guy may not have been the person that actually fired the weapon.
Right.
But he admitted on, in a documentary on YouTube in different things that he handed the gun to, I believe it was his nephew, is the person that he at one point said actually, actually shot the weapon.
Yep. Anyways, to me, just another case like Suzanne Morphew's, that it's just like,
it's a busy week for police.
Yeah. There's really truly been a lot of cases. There's been just a lot going on in the true crime world.
Yeah. At this rate, we'll have an arrest in John Bonet by the end of the year.
Right. I know, right? Well, did you not see the?
Yeah.
Right. Like,
there's been some movement in a lot of big cases. We haven't talked about it on this channel, but I followed the Bardstown, Kentucky killings, and there was an arrest in that the same day as they found Suzanne's remains. They finally made an arrest 8 years later in the disappearance of Crystal Rogers, who was a missing mother of 5 in Kentucky.
Yeah.
And the main suspect's always been the partner, and they finally arrested him. And so I'm so grateful for that. But
it's for a fact that while certain cases are coming to fruition, that there's a ton more cases happening every day, sadly.
And then over in Delphi, we have people being like, nope, it was the Odonites.
It was the Odonites. Right. Yeah, we're going to be doing another Delphi live right here, right quick again. Because there was one I wanted to do, but then it got sidetracked because of the Suzanne Morphew case, which, again, for anyone that followed me from the beginning would know that the Suzanne Morphew case I covered on lives for over a couple of years. Because I was like, there's no way. This is when I brought my YouTube channel up. I had built my YouTube channel back in 2014, apparently at some point. But this is when I said, nope. This is coming, after the search that Andy did. You could just feel the sense of disappointment. And I just didn't want it to go, unnoticed, and go and fall into one of those cases. But then there was some other creators like Matt Black, and that started really into the Suzanne Morphew case as well, and stuff like that, and AK, and Gonzo, Copfax, and Sweetie Pilo, and stuff like that I really kept it strong. But I had come over to Delphi, but Suzanne's case, just like Tupac's, just like John Bonet's, those are I can say that those are specific cases that have always stayed in my head.
Yeah, I think Gonzo's actually in Colorado right now.
Oh, probably. I was, yeah. Not Mike Tyson. Tyson Draper, huge part of this. That interview with Barry Morphew and stuff like that. Thank you, Mr. Oliver. Regarding Tupac, a life is a life and so precious. Absolutely.
Saw watch.
Yeah, It's. I remember in my head it was 2 words. It was a Sawatch.
Yeah, that's what
Sawatch.
Anna
That's
says.
right. Sawatch.
Watch.
Yeah, I was getting confused because in my head I changed it around to Sue Watch. I was
Right.
like, that doesn't sound.
Thank you, Miss Dog Lover.
Oh, it's coming in echo. I don't know why it does that. It never used to. Now it comes in double. I don't know why. I'm over it. But thank you, Miss Tupac. Thank you, Miss Tupac. Thank you, Miss Dog Lover. Anyways, I'm so glad that, anyways, charges have been laid against that Dwayne Keefe Davis guy. So thank you, Justice.
Right.
And I'll show one more picture. You know, he's a cute little dude.
25 years old, right?
Yeah. You know, again, the song that it was kind of like a bit of a rap song, and I can't think of the title of it anymore. Anyways, it was a really beautiful song that I loved that was part of my grandma's funeral. And I always forget. I can picture the song in my head, but I always forget. I'm not very good with names on there. But yeah, just grateful for when there's a closure being brought to the families, and hopefully for I think it was Adina. Is it Edna or Adina? Because I'm sure that I thought they said Adina, but then because like just like
sure.
when they were doing the press
conference. Edna, but
yeah, let's just say Edna, I guess, until I look at it again. I'm pretty sure it was Adina.
But depending on her heritage, I'm not sure the pronunciation.
Yeah, well, the Keefe name on when they were doing that press conference, they had Keefe with 2 F's and an E, one, and then the other one was 2 E's and an F. Oh, hold on, my husband's going to Shoppers. He's asking me if I need anything. Be right back.
Yes, ketchup chips.
Hickory stick.
Tango over. I've already got those. He gave those to me yesterday. Okay, wait, one sec.
Okay. While Sunny's doing that, I will oh wait, I don't know if he wants to say it. Okay, well, I'll just say I won't give anything away, but if you're a fan of Tom Webster, I think he's going to put a new video out tomorrow, so look forward to that. I won't say anything about what it is, but look for a new video from him tomorrow. Anne says, I think a lot of these OJ type husbands never feel any remorse whatsoever. Nope. They totally believe she deserved it. So she's cheating on me and are so annoying. Well, yeah, I don't think they can see past their own fragile egos. I think they're narcissists. And I think,
Mm-hmm.
there's the element of if I can't have you, no one else will. It's control. And then, if you look at Barry Morphew, she'd sent him a text saying we need to figure out how to dissolve this civilly. And you know what? That, in a lot of people's minds, there's half his income out the window. So, I mean, Brian Walsh is another example.
Oh, look who's in the house.
Hey, Psychic Sleuth.
How are you, chica? I can't
Psychic Sleuth had made a post about all of the we were talking about all the different cases that have had some movement lately. And she was saying, and of course, I'm going to not do it any justice, but she was saying that that in, I don't know if it's numerology or what, but this is a 7 year, and that's that represents justice. And so that, that she was saying that, they're that's why we're seeing a lot of the movement in cases that we're seeing in 2023. So I found it interesting.
Let me see. Rochelle, and I'm sure you did. You must have covered the Suzanne Morphew case at some point. I'm sure, correct? Like prior to recently. I'm sure you would have probably covered that. 7 year, yep. Said at the beginning of the year. Number 7 year. Number 7. Oh, Rick Roll. Miss Dog Lover. Miss Dog Lover on there. Reason why I was asking Rochelle, wasn't sure if you wanted to pop on for a minute and say what you would come across. You know, if you want to, I'll drop you a link. If you don't have, if you're just not into it and just, you know, want to peek in here for a moment, that's okay as well. On there, I'm just gonna wait for this to happen. It's gonna happen. Just gotta wait for it. Miss Dog Lover likes her Rick Roll. I like Rick Roll too. Right. Okay. I'm just reading Psychic Sleuth's comment. I know that was a big question about the movement. You know, if he went back and moved her. Barry did a lot of strange things. Garbage bags. There we go. Thank you, Miss Dog Lover. The reason why it plays Rick Roll is because of Miss Dog Lover, but it's a song that I always liked. Alexa, did you always like this song?
No, I mean, I like it, but not
Okay.
Not love.
Okay. Just 1 second here. Copy. Rochelle. Louise, I see you. Drop the link if you, even if it's just for like 10 minutes, Rochelle. I just dropped the link to you there. Even if it's just for a few minutes, just to hear what you would kind of come across or thought about yourself. I don't know. You know, like I know Alexa's. Oh, I'm coming through on your thing. I know Alexa, like said, she's not really experienced with Suzanne Morphew case, besides kind of more or less, you know, the gist of what's happened. Whereas myself, you know, I don't even know how much Adam fully knows about the case. This is a case.
Yeah.
What did you say?
Yeah, I mean, I've been I've been following it ever since, you know, I met you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, right.
Well, I mean, I'd heard about it prior to that, but I mean, I've really been following it since I met you.
Yeah.
So, and you're right. I did say income. I should have said assets. I'm sorry.
You should have said what?
Assets. Like when I said 50% of his income, I should have said 50% of the asset.
Yeah. From there, just trying to remove things on there. Yeah. So I dropped you the link, Rochelle. If you have a few minutes to come up. Again, just everyone's different thoughts, and you know, okay. Do you believe it's Barry, Alexa?
Yeah, I think so. I think with everything that I'm not, like I said, I'm not as experienced as you two, or like you, Sonny, but I believe he did it. I think but I think it was in the spur of the moment. I don't think it was anything planned or anything.
Yeah.
I think he probably got upset, didn't answer the calls, showed up to the house, confrontation happened, and he just went for it.
I know. I wish I could remember everything that I knew back then, because I could have told you the whole story of, you know.
Actually, I wanted to ask you something, because
Sure.
I was reading, doing my research for tonight, that they said that one of the workers that checked him in at the hotel, he reeked bleach, like he smelled so. But that was not, for some reason, they couldn't introduce that evidence or his testimony into his case. But I didn't get to why. Do you know why they didn't?
Not sure.
No, I don't know why they didn't allow it.
He's not alive anymore.
Yeah, I know he died, but hopefully they can let his testimony can still be used.
Right. So I think it was so when they went there, like there was towels and just a huge smell of chlorine in
And the hotel said that wasn't uncommon for the hotel rooms to have that cleaner smell in them when
Yeah.
someone. But
You know,
it's confusing to a lot of people too, because the guy that Alexis referencing, his name is Jeff.
Yeah.
But Suzanne's lover's name is also Jeff, but there's two different Jeffs.
Yeah.
Just so if you hear me say Jeff or someone else, it's not Suzanne's lover.
Yeah, the other one is the boyfriend was with an L, right? JL, I think it's initials. But I mean, chlorine and bleach are different smells, and I mean, I know that because my house in the summer smells so much like chlorine because of our pool. So I can tell you this, and I am a bleach alcohol. I mean, I am addicted to bleach. Like I if I could bleach my kids and my husband, I would bleach them. I am like a bleach person. I know it's bad, but I bleach everything. But the smell is completely different.
Yeah.
Exactly, Willow.
I was gonna say, like, because the bathroom in there is probably where he probably did wash
Cleaned up.
And he also had his tools. He in his hotel room as well. Now there's many different things, whether it's the fact that a neighbor across the road heard him start up like the whatever freaking machine it was that was across at the beach house. So this neighbor talks about 11:30 on the Saturday night, how Barry had started up or this machine. She didn't know it would say Barry, but meaning it was a job site he was working at, and it was, like I said, like really late at night. And I remember her saying 11:30 for that. So that's why a lot of us thought that she was put into like this kind of like wood chippery type thing, and that her remains were in that place. As for the hotel, like you said, why that evidence was not allowed in there, I don't know. But so many things he did. He went to 5 different places and dispersed garbage, right? It reeked of the bleach. Jeff and I can't think of her name for the life of me all of a sudden. Again, I should know these names, but after a while you just kind of forget them. But Jeff and the female worker, were waiting for the supplies, but it was like it was, again, like kind of like the bike, like a staging. It's like the whole thing around him being in Broomsfield like was a lie, really. Like it wasn't a planned job like he was making it seem like. And that's hence why the materials didn't show up. It was just, to me, and to most people that follow this case, the alibi. Him trying to, act like, oh, how could I have done it? I was over in Broomsfield, say goodbye to my wife at like 5 a.m. Or we know that that's not true. Like there's so much circumstantial evidence against Barry. And again, back in the day, I could, like any case, you could sit there and talk about the whole thing and everything that happened, how he literally put cameras out around his house, during the time that they were searching for Suzanne, which looks suspicious. Like, why don't you want people to come on the land, Barry? Why are you putting cameras up? Why aren't you actually helping in the search? Why aren't you actually trying to help find your wife, Barry? And then his daughters were, of course, away, and so that right there seems suspicious to me. And that's why a lot of people thought it was pre-planned, more so because of the fact that he's over here, the daughters are over here. Oh, perfect time to take out my wife when nobody's around. But again, it more seems like because of the affair thing going on, or and Suzanne wanting to just end things with him and do it civilly. Like, to me, like I said, Barry's that guy that like, you're not going to embarrass me, you're not going to do this to me, and then started seeing red. Oh, there she is. Hello, Rochelle.
I'm a mess.
No, you're good. You're good. How are
I
you?
just finished doing a reading. I'm okay. How are you?
Stress, but living the dream, right? Doing
Yeah.
life. Yeah. Okay. So stay as long as you like and leave whenever you need to. I'm just kind of curious with Suzanne's case. Like, again, I haven't sifted through all your videos that you've done of people, but Suzanne's case coming up again, and then seeing you in the chat. Did you do a read on her a long time
I
ago?
did. I don't know how accurate my reads were. I honestly think she was moved, but that's my opinion.
Right.
My friend does syntax, so she does like words out of people's names. And it's always dead on. I mean, the numbers and everything. She got 17 as one of the numbers, and that's off of 17. Sorry, my cat.
I feel like those
coming
were
over here
popcorn.
knocking everything off. So she got number 17 actually out of his name, and I got 17 in a recent auto write. So because I didn't work a new case, I think that's why it didn't come in. Like, it seems like the closer we are to resolving something, if I don't work it, it'll come in other cases. I didn't know where it fit. But for me, I mean, he did 3 different dogs hit on his bobcat. I think at one point she was at the house and then he moved her. And I think he moved her several times. That's why, because they're saying, see, the whole reason they haven't arrested him is they don't have enough evidence. There's that other DNA that was present that could have been put there. I mean, he could have known the guy did that and placed the DNA there himself. You know, it's not hard to put someone's DNA there.
Right.
Because it was only like in one spot, I think.
In the
like you could take, you
on
could
the
take
glove
someone's
compartment.
DNA and do that. That's not hard to do if he like knew the person, you know. He's the only one with means, motive, and opportunity,
right?
In my opinion.
Right.
And there's a lot of stuff in my reading that did hit, like the timing. I just went through because I don't like to join groups, but I was in one of those Suzanne's groups, and they posted like 100 things of inconsistencies and stuff that went on with Barry. And they were saying even the timing was around 3 or 4 in the morning when he left and went to a job site that he had no tools for.
Right. Yeah.
And that's when he went and dumped all the trash. It reminds me of Jen Doulos' husband, you know, how he went and dumped all the trash in the different trash cans. Like, why?
Yeah.
Why?
Right. Why would you need to go to 5 different places?
You know, I think he put, and that's why I think like his GPS, I'm starting to wonder if he didn't take like her Range Rover instead of his truck. And that's why he sold the Range Rover. Like he went in the, he sold it later on.
Yes.
And I'm just wondering, because they're saying they have no GPS that puts him where she was found. So it makes me wonder if they didn't check the GPS of the Range Rover, or he took a different car, or he obviously went in the other direction. Because in all of my readings, I got like more mountainous areas and stuff. I mean, I did get a church. There's a church right there. But honestly, I've been sitting here like, well, how the heck did I get that so wrong? But I haven't done a reading in a year.
Right.
So maybe if he moved her, she wasn't there.
I mean, a lot of people did feel like that was one of the big things, because, you know, that she was moved a couple times. Again, hopefully one day the story actually plays out and we'll have that hindsight to go back to see if she actually was or not. Because they didn't even like, I was going to say, you know, I just remember that at the start of the case, it's kind of like he had opportunity to move her without them at that moment, you know, tracking him and all that stuff. So I'll be curious about that myself, because I can't remember enough anymore about the GPS, you know, and if Suzanne's vehicle had GPS on it or not. And if so, like, would he destroyed it? And we know he sold it. Like, that's a very good thought there about that
and
one.
If they're saying like it's strange that it ended up close to other victims, if that's known as the boneyard and he knows of other victims there, what better way to pin it on somebody else, you know, or put it in an area where there's other people, which was another thing that come in. I kept getting other victims around the same area that she was at. It's just the description of what I was given doesn't match, but there's a lot of other things like being buried, being around other victims, like things like that did fit. But things happen as they're going to happen anyways. Like in the timing they're supposed to happen. She was found the way she was going to be found.
Oh, well, you know, like, so one of the things that I was saying, so I guess I mean, contrary to going to what you just said, in a sense, if he knew it was a boneyard, in a sense, an area, different story. But in my head, it's like I'm going, like, even to me, I would think that Barry wouldn't have went in a straight line, literally off of the highway, for someone that's so experienced in the outdoors to literally put a body just off of the highway in a shallow grave and think it. I don't
Well,
know.
if they got really close and he decided to move her, it would be more of like something hasty,
Yeah.
which whenever I'm shown like bodies off the side of the road, like they usually give me cars, which I didn't know why they didn't give me cars this time. But again, I haven't worked it in a year, so it depends on when she was put there. But
Right.
the fact that she had to have been buried with the bobcat at some point for all three dogs to hit on that,
Right.
in my opinion, she
Yeah.
had to have been put there, and then they got close, and then he probably moved her somewhere else. And then, because I kept getting a storage shed, but I don't know if he had one that we even know about. But he could have put her, he could have moved her several times, which is hard to do. It doesn't make much sense. But if he really doesn't want to be caught, and they're
Right.
getting close, he could have found a way to do it.
And agreed, like Donna Serafina thought she was in the water. I thought she was in the beach house.
I never thought she was in the water. I just got
No, me neither.
I got water near her, like I could smell it, but that's like a flood area. And if you look more to the left of it, there is a place that has lakes and things like that. So what I always tell people is, like, whenever I'm trying to locate, I can see things around or on. Sometimes they'll give me directions to an area, or they'll give me things around it. But there's lakes, like I think it's right here. I'm all pointing like you can see me. But it's interesting because 59, like, I don't know if you guys know, if you zoom in and out of the map, there's there's numbers, and 59 was what she was found by. That also came in her name. And a lot of the syntax that my friend had said aligned with my readings. So, because I've been sitting here like, this doesn't make any sense to me. So I had her do it to see if it matches. But I got 57. There's also a 57 that interconnects that 59. But I didn't even know there was like numbers like that for that grid,
Yeah. I don't even, like, I see 17.
And I kept seeing him driving between two mountains. I mean, that's the way there. But just the terrain of what I got didn't really match all too much.
I don't know where I did. Yeah,
you can't seem to see it, but if you look at the map, you can pull it up. I took pictures of it last night. Here, let me see if I can screenshot it to you or send it to you.
Sure. 15. Looks like a bunch of, I don't know. Every time I look at this part, it looks like a game. Bunch of freaking checkers or something.
But I think Barry did a lot of things to throw everybody off. In my opinion, I mean, you wouldn't think he was very smart, but honestly, I think in this, he was a little bit smarter than we thought he was.
I think
allegedly.
So. Allegedly, yeah. I mean, I personally believe that he's a very, very experienced outdoorsman for sure. He absolutely is. Knowing that, I think it was Chris McDonough that had done a video a long time ago about when Barry had started hunting and where he was hunting at a very young age. So to me, like, he doesn't come off, and maybe I'm wrong, because he definitely had quite a few businesses underneath his name. But he came off of, like, he was smart with certain, like, what he was good at.
Oh yeah. He's good at getting away with fraud and whatnot. I mean, there's lots of, that was one of the things that I got that was going on with him, was money issues, and she was going to leave him. And I literally heard, "I'm done." And somebody said that was on a text message. So I just think he went and did a lot of different things to throw off the track. That's how it came in. So it's hard to track somebody when they're moving around so much. And if she was in different areas, I don't know. I feel like for sure at one point she was at that property.
Well, there's 59 right there.
Yeah, see, there's the numbers.
Okay, I was just looking at your pictures and I was going, oh, there's where 59 is. I don't
Yeah,
know
and
why.
then 57's a little bit further over, but when I get numbers, I don't know. Like a lot of the numbers fit that town right there and stuff that I got too. But I don't know. They need a lot more evidence than what they got, unfortunately.
Well, that's the thing is like when I was watching, and I don't know if it was court TV or something like that, and then they had a bunch of lawyers on. Anyways, I think it was court TV. Anyways, and most of them felt, well, okay, like, so for a long time, you know, like Linda Stanley and whatever were saying, we just need the body. We just need the body, you know, da 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 da. So they pulled back on the case because obviously there was a good chance of them losing it. So they said that they need the body. Okay, so now there's a body. So now let's see what happens. You know,
can people clear the GPS? That's what I want to know, because they said they don't have any GPS putting them in that area. Did they ever check the Range Rover GPS? Does that have GPS? Well, you know, he could have easily moved her with that and been like, okay, I'm going to get rid of the car now.
Right, and it wasn't so much the GPS as it was the vehicle forensics that they were able to get, and that's basically just the internal computer system that's in the car. It's separate than the GPS system that we all have like on our dashboards. And they do overwrite. You know, we heard a lot about this in the Alec Murrah case about the door opening, the door shutting, the car going into drive but not moving. And so that's what they're referencing when they're talking about the missing time period in the car forensics, because we had the 80 movements or the 80 activities that took place when he backed the car into the up against the house on the 9th. But the missing hours, my understanding is that they think that those are just that the computer system overwrote the data for that time period. So I don't think he would have access to actually go in and physically alter that.
Well, that's what I'm wondering.
You can reset some, but I know 100% that you can reset some factory settings, and you can delete some stuff. You can physically go there and alter it.
That's what I was wondering, if they could alter that, or if he just took a different vehicle and they didn't check it. Because I feel like he moved her a different time. I feel like all this running around, he went one direction, and they're like, yeah, why would he drive this way and then that way and then this way? You know, it's like a lot of driving, but there's people that drive a lot. I mean, look at Gannon's stepmom. I mean, all the way to Florida.
Right.
So, and I've seen a lot of cases where they drive a couple hours. Mackenzie Lewick, I mean, he drove 2 hours into the mountains, but still, he could have done it a different day. In my opinion, he could have put her somewhere else, then moved her a different day. Yeah. Depending on when they check the GPS, it's not out of the realm of possibility. They just don't have any proof of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, yeah, absolutely, and absolutely could have moved her the different day, because we know that
that's what it feels like to me. Because I don't understand why else there would be why 3 dogs would hit on that bobcat for no reason.
He's had 3 years. 3.5.
Yeah, he's had 3 years. Yeah, he could have put her somewhere else. They weren't watching him 24/7, so
you know. So and the thought of perhaps taking Suzanne's car to dispose of her could make sense too.
Yeah,
you know.
I mean, he sold it.
I know, right?
I don't even know if they ever looked into it.
He sold it so fast.
He sold it so fast. That's why it makes me wonder how that's kind of weird. Like, you're just gonna sell her car and all her belongings really quick, and you think she's gonna come home?
Yeah. What are you, Chris Watts?
Yeah, he sold it, and then if it had any evidence in it, he just straight up sold it.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't even leave.
I mean, it's just interesting. And there was another thing I read too about how she always went for a bike ride in the evening. She never went in the morning, so the bike ride didn't make sense. She always wore more like gloves and all of that. She didn't just wear a helmet and just go bike riding. Like, she had a whole bunch of stuff that she wore when she went. And none of that was ever recovered. Yeah. And it's pure staging. I agree with the bike and the helmet. I totally agree. And the fact that he's like, oh, a mountain lion got her. Okay, Barry.
Yeah, sure.
Like, wouldn't there be some other kind of evidence of that? I mean, come on.
Right. Oh, I know. They're like, oh, here's her bike. Oh, mountain lion.
Yeah. I know.
It was total staging, and he did everything before he left. It was all
Well,
done.
her Facebook was logged into that night. The neighbor that was across from the beach house,
Love you, Miss Dog Lover.
where that one that it sniffed on, I think it was, was he went there at past 11:30 at night. And I think that's the same night that he logged into the Facebook and stuff like that. And then her phone pinged on the day that she would have, say, been deceased at like 4:23 or something like that. And it was just like,
And there was fighting. I mean, that's one thing that I
Yeah.
got was a lot of fighting and abuse.
yeah.
And she was leaving. I
She
mean,
had-
that's why she was
I know.
having an affair. She was leaving, and he was having an affair
Yeah.
too. I don't care what anybody says. There were
I think he
affairs
was too.
going on.
I know that they haven't seen, but I think he was as well.
I can't stand to look at that dude. there's something about it.
You know what? When I honestly
True
look at him,
narcissist.
right when I seen his face pleading for Suzanne,
fake.
That's he like me too. I do not like looking at that guy whatsoever. The thing is that if you, without knowing anything about him, and if you visually kind of look at him, he's a decent looking man, but his ugliness shone through.
Yeah.
How he acted in that interview, how he acted afterwards.
The body language is horrible.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, I think he's worse than Chris Watts on trying to
Okay.
hide the way that it just seemed more fake to me than Chris Watts.
Right,
it's fake
right.
crying and
Yeah.
please bring her home. Yeah,
I
no,
want you
he's
back so
a bad
bad.
actor.
It's to me, it was that fake scrunching of the eyes down, especially, that I can't stand looking at. Like, it's like when somebody's forcing their face to cringe in. Oh, Suzanne.
He's so smug. He's so smug.
Yes.
And what I don't understand is like his younger daughter knew about the fights and stuff. I don't
Yeah.
understand how they're not opening their eyes to the obvious.
Right. Considering
Other
that-
than they're just trying to be supportive of their dad, but
well, Macy, which is the younger daughter, had told Suzanne to like get a restraining order, because of this fact of that they were fighting and, et cetera, et cetera. And so for me personally, I just have a hard times with the actions of somebody that's missing. And you would just think that on their profiles that they would have put their mom's face missing. So let me put it this way. If they were expecting her to return home and that they're so shocked that they expected her to walk in the door at some point, okay.
But you're selling all her stuff.
You're selling all her stuff, exactly. And you're not even changing, you're not posting anything that's geared toward help find my mom, blah, you're not putting her picture up on your profile. Like what was so disgusting to me is that besides the caring people from the Suzanne Morphew side, is that the family from Barry Morphew's and like I said, the daughters, they weren't doing anything that was promoting help find Suzanne, bring Suzanne back home type of thing. It was such a cross from the staging of the bike. And again, if I could relive back in time a few, 3 years ago when I knew I could tell you every point of the case, the way that Barry took 45 minutes to leave before when he found out Suzanne was missing. Of course it was the daughters, that, we're trying to call her and, hey, can you go check up on my mom? Like it was just to me a big staging, not by the girls, but by Barry, the whole bike thing, the timeline, him returning. I couldn't imagine just standing there knowing if he did, knowing that you took someone's life, and especially your wife, and be like, must have been a mountain liner.
Yeah.
Oh, can I touch the bike? Can I put my hands
he had
all over it?
He had a lot to lose. He had a lot of money to lose. And
Lot
by
of it,
him taking all the GoFundMe money and everything, obviously he's money hungry. He had a lot to lose. Suzanne was going to take all her money away because she was the breadwinner.
Yeah.
So, and him going into the hotel room, I think he went in there and washed himself with bleach myself so that
Yeah.
evidence wasn't in the house. But he took a trip when they weren't supposed to be working with no tools.
And then never worked.
It makes no sense.
Yeah.
Like he went to the wall for like 5 minutes or something, but he didn't even have the tools, tell anybody he was going. Like all of a sudden he's just going to work with no tools.
Yeah. I mean, the whole
a
thing
whole
is
lot of sense.
his whole actions the entire time from start to finish were nothing about right. Absolutely sketchy. No husband. Like, do you know what I mean? Any normal person that's a husband would never act the way he did. Normally, when somebody grieves or has news put to them and whatever, there's a certain reaction that people do, you know, shock, grief, screaming, you know, tears rolling down the face, just multiple, you know, the main thing that people typically do when they hear news. No, that wasn't from Barry whatsoever. You know, he's too busy freaking making his protein peanut butter sandwiches on the barbecue and stuff like that. And then, like I said, he goes back to work, puts the cement down on that beach house there, you know, and that right there too. I was like, dude, are you kidding? And then the way I can't remember it now, but in the in the Tyson Draper video that he did with Barry Morphew, catching him off guard there. Again, you know how they talk about using them, you know, instead of like using the wrong, whatever it is, nouns or pronouns or whatever it was. And, you know, there was a lot of telling things in there. I don't remember to this date, but I remember some of it's like when you're talking in past tense at the same time you're talking about whatever. And there was a lot of past tense and how he worded things, but there was multiple times that he did that. And to me, it was just like, dude, you are so full of it. You're full of yourself. No husband acts this way. The whole freaking plead thing was pathetic to me. Like I said, I believe it's very
They just need evidence. That's all. They've got to build a stronger case.
Right.
They have circumstantial, but they just need more evidence, and that's why I'm a little concerned.
Well,
and then they have that other DNA that, you know, is reasonable doubt. So,
but now that they have her remains, they may have more evidence. We don't know.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, we don't know, you know, because it's mostly, you know, the animals got into them and stuff. So,
yeah.
I don't know.
Well, you know, like I said, the prosecutor is saying that they just needed to find her body. So let's see how much water that holds.
It's one of those things we got to hang on to. And when my friend did the syntax, I mean, it matches everything, numbers and everything. She said May is going to be really important. So we'll just have to wait and see. I mean, I know that's when she went missing, but sometimes it's interesting how with timing things come back around to the same months and whatnot. So, but I have to go do a reading.
No, I was just going to say, I was literally just going to say,
I think I'll be going pretty soon too.
Well, thank you so much, Rochelle, for coming.
You're welcome. If you guys are still here when I'm done, I'll pop back in and say hi.
Probably not. Probably not.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, I have to go to bed soon.
I was going to say, we're going to probably head off here soon, but thank you so much.
Thanks for having me and listening.
Thank you.
Take care.
My
Rochelle.
Ideas.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
Anyways, justice for Suzanne for sure.
Yep.
Did they release the cause of death yet? No, they have not. Mustang.
It's gonna take them a while for that.
Yeah, I was gonna say I remember hearing something about it today, but it's not yet. Not yet.
And for anyone that's not subscribed, Rochelle is the Psychic Sleuth. So if you're not subscribed to her channel, go and subscribe to her channel. She does some amazing work. We appreciate you being here tonight.
Yeah. Alrighty, guys. Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Take care, Rochelle. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Yeah, she did. Rochelle's always been very generous with her time and coming on here and doing some lives, and for, you know, Aspen and Adam's birthday and stuff like that on there. That one I won't forget. But anyways, yeah. You know what?
Either.
Yeah.
It was good. Maybe too good.
Yeah, right. Just trying to think. There's not really much. Alexa's in hiding now. She is. Yeah, the minute her thing went off. I don't really have anything else that too much on the live to talk about tonight anymore. Myself, it's kind of like I've gone through what I wanted to today. There's so many.
I do hope that, I mean, I know that they don't plan on doing a press conference. I of course hope that we get one in the next few weeks. I wouldn't expect one, in the next. Well, it's the weekend, so we won't have anything this weekend. But hopefully, we'll get one.
Miss Dog Lover.
In a number of weeks.
Miss Dog Lover.
Thank you, Miss Dog Lover.
Yeah.
Like I have a feeling Suzanne's case. I feel like it had this. We got this incredible news that they found her, and we're probably not going to hear anything else for a while. And then it'll probably hit us again when they announce that they've got some information.
Well, we might hear something again soon if they found more remains and stuff.
That absolutely. I just mean as far as cause of the COD
Right.
or something like that.
Yeah.
I doubt that's going to take a while because with this big skeletal.
Around and search you.
This dog lover super chat. £1.99. Thank you.
She's never gonna.
Still here.
She's still there. She's
So
never
with
gonna
Suzanne's
desert.
remains being skeletal, it's going to take longer
Ray.
to do an examination.
2 secs. I'm literally just going for 2 secs.
Oh, you're fine.
Yeah, but thank you again, Miss Dog Lover. Let's just put in chat. Who here still thinks that Barry did it? Just put a 1 if you think Barry did it. 2 if you don't. Keep it simple. Let me just make sure I get my 1 in there. There's my 1.
Alexa, did you leave us or are you here?
She's here apparently.
Okay.
Apparently she
Yeah,
said
this
be
is
right back.
that's pretty much all I had to say about the case tonight.
Yeah, just hold on, just looking.
I think so far we've got 5 ones.
Yeah. Miss Dog Lover. Oh no, I thought that was Miss Dog Lover twice, but it's Mustang and Miss Dog Lover.
Oh, Mustang, thank you.
What? What'd she say?
No, I'm sorry. You said oh no. Okay, never mind. That was my bad.
Did you get the 2 mixed up like I did for a second?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see these big M's there, and next thing you know, like what on there? Okay, so Jess, just put 1, Jess. Just put 1. Be on the right side.
Yeah. Sadly, and that's whether he'll do the time we don't know. But hopefully, I mean, if they can if they can make this arrest in Tupac Shakur's case 27 years later, hopefully we can find justice for Suzanne.
Sorry, one of my kids wanted to come and sleep here, so I had to go upstairs and convince him not to come. So sorry.
I think that it's just that when I was listening to, I think it was Court TV. When I was listening to them and listening to all the lawyers and different people were talking there, and a lot of them felt like, great, okay, you got a body, but it's been 2 years. It's been like 3 years, and it's been out there in the deserty place, and who knows? I'm hopeful. I mean. Well, the thing that I keep getting confused at myself is I just like kind of what it said in the letter there about that they showed no him going south on the tracking, but you said that there was 4 to 4 hours or so. That
There's 4 to 5. There's 4 to 5 hours missing on the. It's called, and I looked it up. It's called an event data recorder.
Okay.
And it's a system that all vehicles have now, and they can be reset, but it's very difficult to do so. And one of the reasons they're installed in vehicles is because it's a way that you can't hide your vehicle being in a crash,
right?
If you resell it,
right? Okay. So I mean, for me personally, from following the case from start, myself, Barry Morphew has showed everything that goes against how a husband would act. The way he didn't participate in Suzanne Morphew's search, his own wife's search. The way the only time he would do an interview was when he was angry to bitch about how this video of Barry said it all to me. Suspicious. Yeah.
Yeah.
The video. Well, like I said, I was angry, very angry, because it just wasn't, it was just disingenuous and fake to me. And his actions like the whole time have not proved, like have never been in favor of somebody that loves their wife so much that that they're shouting from the rooftops or helping in the searches and stuff like that. And it's kind of like, there's been other cases where they're looking for the wife and the husband hasn't helped in searches. And to me, that's just as guilty as pie right there. When that happens, I'm so sorry. But like I said,
isn't that human nature? Like
human nature.
Your husband goes missing. I would be outside, looking for anywhere help, even if law enforcement would say, no, we don't need, I would be there. I wouldn't care.
No, well, that's just it, right? That's how someone that loves their partner thinks. When you spend 25 years, regardless, I mean, some relationships, like I said,
I might then call the person I'm having an affair with and pretend to be in Paris on New Year's Eve. Oh wait, never mind. That was Scott Peterson.
That was
yeah. So, I mean, I believe Barry did it. I truly just hope that they have enough evidence if they should be charging him again this time, that they don't mess it up. I'm sorry, but I want to see
Let's hope they said the body was skeletonized, so that means there's no obviously there's not going to be any fluids, any DNA fluids or anything like that, but let's hope that he left something.
Right. Blunt. They're going to, the only way they'll be able to, they'll be, there could be blunt force trauma that they might be able to detect, usually, or they can usually see if there was a bullet wound.
I ask you a question. When I know I was reading that he went to 5 places to throw the garbage.
Yes.
Did they go and search the garbage or no?
Oh, unfortunately, it was way too late.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
So
Meaning, had they done that near the start, but because they did that like way later, that the garbage, gone.
Had been big.
Yeah. So they did go back, but at that point it's, just way too late.
Yeah.
Way too late. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, when you add up all the things that he did that weren't normal, like there's a list with it when it comes to that. Again, the thing is, when you have somebody that literally your wife's telling you that I'm done, it's finished, let's just do this civilly. She's obviously,
and then you delete that text message.
Pardon?
Oh yeah, he deleted that one too.
He deleted the text
he
message.
deleted that. He deleted that text message and left the others, all the normal day-to-day ones. But that one he deleted.
And why? It makes you wonder why. Why that one? Part of the story, right?
Same reason he had we had a wonderful dinner and made love, went to bed.
Psychic Sleuth said that she believed it was him, right? Is that what you said?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And it wouldn't shock me if she was moved, because that is very plausible because of where the dogs hit originally and stuff like that, which was at that beachy house over there. And in a couple other spots, but anyways, they were, I want to say that they were very sloppy, meaning for someone, it's almost like thinking that Barry Morphew had nothing to do with it at first, that he was just, his wife was just missing and whatever. So it's like their eyes weren't really on him right near the start. So I think it's very possible that he could have moved her body after the fact at some point, because there was that time frame where they weren't really overly, I know that they look at them, but it was almost, kind of like corrupt little Carroll County. And then you have Barry Morphew, who's working as a firefighter there. And And it's almost like, no, Barry could never do this to his wife,
Right.
type of thing, like da 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 da.
One thing I wonder if they can do though, with this being such a remote area and with it being so flat, we have 3.5 years. If you look at satellite photos of that exact area over the 3.5 years, you're going to be able to see any disturbance in that ground, even if it was a shallow grave. So I mean, that could prove a timeline as far as if he did move her, if that ground looks different in any satellite photo in the past 3.5 years.
Yeah. I'd like to just see a big boot print of Barry's right there in that area. I'll be interested. It will be interesting to see what else becomes of the answers for Suzanne Morphew. For me, I'm personally just praying that with whatever comes to light, will help convict him and solidify it. Not like Iris Eaton going, this is an innocent man over here. Not even remotely close. I really can't stand looking at this picture, this type of thing. It's ridiculous. It's like, it almost reminds me of like two girls walking, Bob Barker out on The Price is Right.
But I also, it's almost like also the relationship that daughters have. And I'm not saying or blaming anything, but I just don't like that. There's something about that relationship, especially with the youngest, that it bothers me.
No, it's with the oldest.
Hey,
It's
Miss
Mallory.
Doglover.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Miss Doglover, that's his daughter.
It's just, I don't know. It's a little creepy.
Oh, you're cracking up, Alexa.
It's a little creepy. Sorry.
Yeah. But yeah, Mallory is the one that basically has a very close relationship.
So she's the oldest, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was the youngest. Okay, the oldest.
Macy was more towards Suzanne, and that's the one that said, like,
that's the one that knew, right? That she was having an affair.
Did Macy know?
I think they said that she knew.
I can't remember.
I read somewhere that they said that she knew.
Maybe.
I mean, I'm sure it's safe to say they probably both knew that their parents' relationship was not healthy.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Mustang, great live. Thank you, Sunny, Adam, and Alexa. Stop recording. I'm just wishful thinking about sat photo placing BM in that area. Right. Yeah. Well, I like I said, I firmly believe that Barry is still the guy. It's kind of like having a dartboard and all arrows are pointing at that dartboard, and it's a very slim chance to me that it's some sort of SK or anything like that. Again, if anyone knows this case from start to finish or start to at least this time of date, the actions that he did were just ridiculous for what any husband that would normally do for a missing wife that he loves so much, and their relationship was good.
Maybe they should check for local odorites in the area.
Possibly. I guess we could put them on that, or masonry, one of the two. Yep. But anyways, all right. Okay. Well, let's end this live now. It's been 2 hours and 10 minutes, and hopefully Tisha Leeway come on a different live with us again. That's a very close friend of Suzanne that has put in so much time, towards Suzanne's case. Just really, a friend that you would love to have as a friend, that you call a true friend. Yeah. So, and Carla Abrams as well, just different people that have really, like I said, while being in the area and able to do so, because Tisha is like the hairdresser, if anyone remembers, or if anyone doesn't remember. Again, I just keep thinking about like the when they were decorating the Christmas tree, and then Tyson Draper was showing it, and I made a video, for Suzanne Morphew, because I love to make my Suzanne Morphew videos for Mother's Day, and just the different ones, the Christmas one and stuff like that. So I think some of them might be down by now, and that was just maybe because it had a copyright issue or something like that. But anyways, just last thoughts, and thank you, Rochelle, for joining us for a little bit of time, and thank you, Alexa, of course, for joining us tonight.
Yeah, thank you, Alexa, so much.
Thank you for having me.
Adam, show your pug face. Show it. Say goodnight. Say it. I know. Come on now. Come on, beauty queen. Beauty queen Dropper.
Whatever.
There he is. All right. Just last thoughts for anything, or it doesn't even matter if it's due to the Suzanne Morphew case. Just anything that's been going on that you want to make a comment on or something. Alexa's sleeping.
Yeah, actually, give me 1 second. Actually, yes. Delphi. Oh my God, Delphi has been driving me crazy. And I guess, especially with the people that I don't understand, like how dumb some people are. But I guess the defense. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that. I'm sorry.
No, we like truth and honesty. You know that.
I own it. I mean, no, but I guess the defense did their job, because I know a lot of people that were pretty sure that RA was connected with this organism, whatever. They came out and they were like kind of thinking that yes, and then they go to the guy's profile and they're like, oh, kind of looks like him, and
cracking up.
They go into that whole rabbit hole that maybe this other guy did it. It's crazy. And like I said, I used to where I worked, they obviously had a specialist, a religion specialist, and I contacted him, and he put me in touch with somebody that actually he's like a high priest in Ordinism, and he's a Viking, so he's a real Swedish Viking that practices Ordinism. And I sent him everything, and he came back and he told me one of the first things he told me, and I think I said it before, they will never pick anything from the floor without blessing it, especially for a sacrifice. They're like, no way. And usually they don't put the sticks. What they would do is they will carve, like I showed you the pictures, they will carve whatever room they want, and they will carve it onto the stick, but they won't make the sticks into the forms of rooms. So he was like, no.
Yeah.
So it was very interesting. Very, very interesting.
We'll do a live on Delphi next, probably, actually, because it's kind of like, it's just, there is a lot happening in the true crime. And like I said, with our own life issues going on here, again, I apologize. When stress happens, sometimes I just become a recluse because I got to deal with that stuff. And it just, you know how it is. Okay. Especially if you're a Cancer, right, Adam? Especially if you're a Cancer.
And I speaking of Delphi, someone sent me a link to a stream that came out yesterday, I think, and it was it's two attorneys called the Prosecutors Podcast.
Oh yeah.
And they did an episode about the Odinism and memorandum and all of that, and I have to say, they echoed so many points I made in my video. I was like, wait, am I a lawyer?
That's how I felt remember the first time, Adam, when you talked about them, and then when I went back over there, it wasn't like I was feeling like a lawyer, but I was like, but I literally said this stuff. Am I as smart as I sometimes think I'm not?
My video came out days ago.
Yeah, but because it makes you feel a little bit validated. That you're not off your rocker, and that what your thoughts are. Like before ever being on YouTube, my friends would always say, I can always come to you. You're so wise and level-headed. You give such great advice. And I would sit there and go, like, in my head, smugly going, I know, thank you. You're welcome. But so for me, it's kind of like I said, when you're saying things and you're saying it without being a freaking lawyer or freaking whatever, and then you're saying a lot of the stuff.
Normally, I'm over here being like, wait, I give good at what? Me? Huh? No, not me.
Yeah. It grounds us to make us realize that, yes, we're not off our rockers, and that we do have a good amount of common sense and good things to say, and not, in certain ways, we each have our own, including Alexa, we each have our own, forte of things that we're better at doing, or, like I leave Alexa to her, profiling stuff and that side of it, and Adam to more of the lawyery side, or Lewis to that side, and myself, mine's more of just thinking of common sense and, you know, using gut instinct and just digging for whatever. But you know, common sense will always rule over everything. You know, just logic.
Critical thinking. So that's
Yeah.
all I have for tonight. But you know, with all the stuff that's been going on with different cases, who knows what next week will be like?
Yeah.
I guess we'll have to see what as it comes.
Yeah. Okay. And again, I'll just put it out there one last time. If anyone can contribute to Ryan's help for the immigration, which is $6,000, the links are always in the description of this video for the PayPal and the coffee app. If you can help, thank you very much. If not, still love you. Thank you very much for being here, joining us tonight. And again, thank you, Alexa, Rochelle, and Espen. But anyways, yeah, so our next live should be Delphi. I'll see when Alexa's available, because, you know, I know she's probably itching to talk about, you know, the Delphi stuff, her thoughts on there. Yeah, Alexa?
Yes.
Miss Dog
Lover.
Rickroll.
Oh, she makes me laugh. Yeah, she's still here. She just wants her final Rickroll.
Miss Dog Lover, go to bed. The sun's coming.
Didn't I say goodnight? This is like the fourth time I think I said goodnight.
And not to mention, the sun is coming up soon, Miss Dog Lover. Go to bed.
I know. It's literally 8 hours difference.
It's 5:20 a.m. there.
But you know what? I don't know about you guys, because we have our Truth and Reconciliation holiday. So that's, even though it should have been on Friday, it's going to be on Monday. And then the next week after that is the Thanksgiving weekend. So all that stuff was in there with the whole immigration thing as well. Thinking like, we need to get whatever in because if there's this holiday, and then the next week there's this holiday, you know. So anyways, my husband does work tomorrow. He is working tomorrow. But so it doesn't matter to me about the 3 days off, but he'll still get 2 days off anyway and earn some time and a half while he's working tomorrow. Anyways, you guys, I'm waiting for her Rickroll to come. We gotta hear it. I just wish it wouldn't echo.
Miss Dog Lover, I'll fly over there and make you.
What? Go to sleep? There it is.
Miss Dog Lover super chat. £1.99. Thank you. Final Rickroll. Smiley face.
Okay, thank you so much, Miss Dog Lover. Anyways, yeah, love you guys. You guys have a great night.
Have a good night.
And justice for Suzanne Morphew at the end of the day. Anyways, take care, guys.
Good night, everyone. Stay safe.
Good night. This is Sunny Justice and Aspen Connor from It's a Crime and Shame, wishing you all a good night.